Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome once again to this program, Communication Moments with Dr. Godswill Oki. Today we shall be looking at an aspect of communication which is also very important, especially within the nonverbal communication modes, and this is chronemics. Chronemics, as the name implies, deals with time. It deals with how time can be used to judge an individual, how time can be used to determine the kind of personality an individual has, even the individual's habits. And this is very important, an important aspect which most people they may not know, but in the course of their relationship with superior officers, in the course of their work, it comes to play and may affect productivity of the company, and at the same time may affect their promotions if care is not taken. So timing is quite important. How do we use time? Like we said, how do we use time, especially when we are working? How do we use time? Do we use it to for the time to chat with friends, to be on the phone, to tweet, and to leave the essential thing that we need to do? Anyway, the conversation has been made better as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which allowed for the use of internet and the telephone, essentially for communicating within and outside of offices. Having said that, the way we use time is also important. The use of time to should be applied to those things which we ought to do when we are in a working place, when we are in an organization, in a formal setting. Even in an informal setting, how we use time is also important. It's not wise to overstay an occasion. It's not wise to overstay at a place. So it's important to use time adequately. As the saying goes, time and tides waits for no man. Then, in talking about time management, it deals also with punctuality. Most times, people at the end of the year are judged as to how punctual they've been to work, how punctual they resume at work, how punctual are they at the meeting, or is it those who resume at any time? It doesn't augur well for an individual and it doesn't speak well about the individual. So, punctuality is also an aspect of time management which we will do well to apply adequately. We should be able to be punctual to work. If you're supposed to resume by 8 a.m., the ideal time to resume may be 7:15 or 7:30, so you can settle and get ready for the day's work. And the other aspect is time is also important for an interview situation. An interview may not necessarily be when you're going for the job. It could also be when you're being interviewed for your promotion or an assessment in the organization where you work. So punctuality is important and is an aspect of time management. Related to punctuality is the issue of leaving office before time or leaving office immediately is closing time. It's also not ideal. The ideal worker is seen as one who can stay some minutes, hours beyond the closing period. There may be something you may want to cover. The boss may want you to do some other thing. It's sacrificial, but it's important and it adds up to the makeup of the individual. We should not be so time conscious when it's time for us to go, but we should be more time conscious when there is a work for us to do. We should also deliver on time. Your clients do not understand the problem you have. What they want is for their work to be delivered on time. And in managing time, we should be able to finish what we have to do. And if you're going to make a presentation, we should be able to do that on time. We should be at the client's place before that time and get ready, set up our props, and be ready to go. The thing we need to talk about again is time management determines how self motivated we are in the organization. It's not all the time that a boss, will advise you come early, close late. No, you have to be self motivated, and it's something that comes as a result of your ability to manage time effectively. You should be able to apportion time adequately, and that comes when you're self motivated and when you have the interest of the organization at hand. Some other aspects of time management which affect communication and which also communicates at the end of the day is ability to communicate patiently. Let me use that word now. Our ability to communicate patiently. You find out in some situations, individual do not allow speaker A or speakers A, B to conclude with what their thoughts and immediately interject or jump in. It doesn't make for good and effective communication when we interject. We should be able to wait patiently. In that way, we become good and better communicators. And while we wait patiently, we also absorb, we also take in the meanings which they intend for us to know, analyze them properly, and communicate back effectively. Time management also deals with the ability to listen. The ability to listen. We should be able to listen for some times. It relates with what I've said before. People will interject, but we should be able to, when we are patient, when we use time effectively, we should be able to listen. When we listen, we hear out what the other party have to say, and before we bring in our own thoughts. Talking further about time management, we find out that it's an aspect which employers of labor also use to determine whether they will um, absorb the worker, the potential worker, or not. Time management comes in there, and that deals with an ability to wait. Some organizations may put you through a lot of waiting. You find people waiting till late. I don't know how effective that may be, but it is also a test which some people, as a result of impatience, will fail that test. But it's not supposed to be like that. We should have the ability to wait out till there's no time to wait again. You know, People have gotten plum jobs as a result of the ability to wait. People have gotten the real news, the scoop of the news as a result of the ability to wait. You wait and something happens, like it said. You do not just walk away. You do not get impatient and said, so what if I'm looking for a job? Or so what if I'm waiting for the owner of the organization? But you have to wait because he's the owner of the organization and you want something from him or her. So time management is important. It determines how well we grow in an organization. And unfortunately, it also determines the acceleration of our growth in the ideal organization, and determines our position and how people will perceive us in that organization. We have so many things to cover, like I've mentioned, and I found out that this niche is very important because people have called in, have asked questions, and fortunately, we've been able to deal with them the way we know because this is something we've done over time and we've researched and known about them. So you can take this home with effective time management, you shall excel in that organization, and it forms the kind of character you want to have in that organization, and it determines how you'll be perceived in that organization. Have a good day. Thank you very much. See you next time.